Ifa teaching of Oyeku CD. Morning and evening were told to perform sacrifice. Evening performed sacrifice, but morning did not. Morning was not concerned with lasting prosperity in the world. Immediately morning got to the world, all the good things and people of the world embraced him. When Eshu was told that morning did not make sacrifice, he raced to heaven to invite the sun to appear. The sun instantly appeared on the horizon, and its rays began to heat up the atmosphere. The cool air of the morning had given way to the intense heat of the sun. The intensity of the afternoon had driven the cool air of the morning into oblivion. That was when evening arrived on earth. The fortune which the afternoon seized from the morning were all transferred to the evening. Gradually the sun began to set, and evening began to flourish. This explains why those who come into great wealth and prosperity very early in life either lose everything or die before middle age. It is those who are destined to become wealthy and famous later in life that suffer hardships early in life. People not only pray to live long enough to see their children thrive and flourish, but also for their children to bury them in the evening of their lives. The Babalals have coined a poem as follows. If my morning is good, I pray for the prosperity of my evening to endure, to enable me to thank Olorun. Ifa says to make sacrifice so that our prosperity will not be short-lived. One should take life at an easier pace. May we all live a long, healthy, and prosperous life. Orumala Boru, Orumala Boye, Orumala Aboshishe.
Yeah, I'm good. Can I ask you a question?
What's going on?
I'm doing a YouTube channel. I've already got videos up.
Okay.
So I just happened to see y'all sitting here and y'all was talking.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, these are two wise men having conversation about life and experience. Were you?
Yes, sir.
Would you, man, a minute of your time? I'm videotaping.
Oh, yeah,
y'all go and talk like I ain't even here.
Oh, okay. Okay. Pretty much, just to sum it up, what we was even talking about is just a lot of, or just the way society is set up now. People are getting more comfortable to feel like we have no need to stick to what's sacred. You know what I'm saying, or what's already been known to be right. We trying to find different ways to find out what's right when we know, or the Most High already set certain things in stone for us to know what's right. Even the moral compass that's put on our heart, every last one of us, you know what I'm saying? We know instinctually what's right from wrong. But with humanity wanting their own fleshly desires, it get tainted from people wanting what tickle their ears or what's most comfortable for the flesh, you know what I'm saying? So they may bring spectrums. Like, I was just making an example. He had laughed when I said it, but it was like a straight man trying to say that he's straight, but he want to deal with men and women. You know what I'm saying? That don't make sense. It's conflicting. You know what I'm saying? But we know for a fact if somebody's straight, then they only like women. But other people can come, and that's when ideology and stuff come in, and people say, well, nah, like, I can like both, and it's still that. Like, no, it's not that. Now it's something different now. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we obviously know it's wrong. And that's the thing, too. Once we step outside of the Creator, because He already gave us breath. You know what I'm saying? He already gave us life. Once we step outside the Creator, that's when we automatically moving wrong. We don't like to be lied to. We want to make sure that we getting the facts. But that's why, above all things, you need the faith. You know what I'm saying? You need the faith, because there ain't no way you're going to be able to understand something that you already conflicted about. You know what I'm saying? If you stepping into it with doubt, then all you gonna find is stuff to be doubtful about. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact.
You know, exactly what you were saying in the same vein. You know, in the Ifa tradition, which is a West African tradition, the Ifa literature says
You know what, sorry about that, but we was just literally talking about this yesterday. Yo, I'm glad we came across
Ifa, yeah.
Really?
We want
this information
insight on that because
well, Ifa came to you.
Yeah.
Amazing. 2 young 22-year-old men. Young men. Sitting in the park, seeking truth. With this type of event, it makes me feel so good because I know that there's a chance now. And I've always known it, you know. It's just showing that we need to be optimistic about our future because there are more spirits that are souls that are coming to the earth that are elevated and seeking elevation earlier in life. So we give thanks to Arimala that he allowed this meeting to happen today. It's very beautiful. May we all be encouraged as a result. Now, speaking about Olorun, the owner of the sun, another appellation for Olodumare. If Olodumare represents the consciousness of the ocean, if Olodumare represents the ocean of consciousness, let me put it that way, then we are the waves, the individual waves that come out of the ocean. And so therefore we can still feel that deep involvement of the ocean in our lives. As we grow, as the waves grow and they become more detached from their source, which is the ocean, then we lose our divine ego, or we're tempted to lose our divine ego and trade it in for the human ego. This is when we become intoxicated. It kind of reminds me of the story when Olodumare sent Obatala out to create forms, human forms and other forms. And Obatala, on his way to do this to the earth, came upon Orishas having a party, and he drank too much and he got intoxicated. And then, of course, after that, he went on to the earth and he started creating all types of forms, positive or not positive, but, you know, forms that were really good and solid and forms that had other challenges. And so those forms that had challenges are sacred to Obatala even today. Well, that in itself can be an allegory for Obatala leaving the source of its creation, Olodumare. And the further Obatala went away from that source, then Obatala became intoxicated or began acting intoxicated because the distance from the source was so great that Obatala lost his connection with the source and thus created different types of forms that were not on the original agenda, shall we say. So I say all that to point out the fact that the further we get away from the source of ourselves or our souls, the more we are attached to the human ego and less to the divine ego. Ashe, ashe, ashe.
I don't know why, but I just had a funny thought about an alligator jumping out this daggone water. Because I was going to follow this path, this way. But you know, look, I know I'm in Georgia, but Georgia may have a few alligators too. And I just don't want to be the one to find out. Oh boy, but this is a beautiful scene. And except for the pieces of plastic, you know, in the water, but, you know, that's not really bad. It could be worse. It could be worse. But you know, part of spirituality is not loitering, either just throwing stuff anywhere and everywhere. That kind of gives away where you are. So we all can do better in that area, and we should. Because this lake is water. Water is one of the wonderful elements of life that the water deities are shown, Yamanja and all the other ones. You know, their water has no enemies. You know, so how can the water deities be other than benevolent? The Orishas are here to help us. To help us. Don't believe anything otherwise. If people talk like that, they throwing their own stuff in there. And just check them out and see how they living. All you got to do is look closer. And not to say everything's going to be perfect, but we got to move toward perfection. Our biggest problem is not being able to get along. There's no harmony. If we can solve that issue first and foremost, then we're on our way to the healing that we deserve, that we're worthy of, that our ancestors are worthy of for everything they went through. This has got to be the goal. This is the only path we haven't taken, which is the path of honoring our ancestors by doing what's best for us, all of us, starting with ourselves. And people say, oh, we ain't gonna ever do that. That's you talking. Maybe you ain't gonna ever do that. But if we wait for other people to do what we know what's right, it's our fault.